there, everyone. My name is Ashley Shabankray, and I would like to welcome everyone who is joining us to our Folk Alliance International's 2023 Annual General Meeting. Having verified that we have a quorum, which is a majority of the whole 21-member Board of Directors, I call this meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging the complexity and privilege of gathering online and the legacy of colonization embedded within the technologies, structures, and ways of thinking that we use every day. We acknowledge that our office is located in Kansas City on the ancestral indigenous lands of the Osage, Kanza, Kaw, Kickapoo, and Oceti-Sakowin nations. I'm personally speaking to you today from what is now known as New Orleans, Louisiana, also referred to as Bulbancha, and the traditional lands of the Kimti-Macha, Choctaw, and United Homa nations. We have members participating in today's Zoom meeting who are able to comment in the chat and will be able to vote using a polling system. We also have non-voting members and non-members viewing today's AGM on various live stream platforms. We invite all of our attendees to find out more about the traditional stewards of the land that they join us from today. And you can find that information by going to native-lands.ca and share it in the chat box now. The first order of business is our approval of our agenda. Since our meeting is virtual, in order to vote for each motion, all voting members present will see a pop-up poll on the screen where you'll be asked to select one of three options. We remind small, medium, and large group membership holders that the only designated official representative should cast the organization's vote. For our first motion, I move that we approve the agenda of Folk Alliance International as circulated to the membership in advance, posted on the website, and shown here on the screen. Do I have a second?
Hi, Ashley, it's Reed Wick. I will make a second.
Thank you so much, Reed. The motion has been seconded by Reed Wick. Is there any discussion or additional business to note? All right, in that case, I move it to a vote. Members, you will see a poll on your screen. Please log your vote, and we will take a moment before displaying the result. All right, the motion is approved. Next, we are on to the approval of the 2022 minutes of the annual general meeting, which was held online on March 31st, 2022. These minutes were posted on our website and linked in the agenda, which was distributed to all members. The minutes also included a list of those that were present at last year's meeting. We hope that everyone has had a chance to review them. As president, I move that we approve the minutes of the 2022 AGM as circulated. Do we have a second?
Hi, Ashley. This is Laura Thomas, and I second.
Thank you so much, Laura. The motion has been seconded by Laura Thomas. Are there any questions or correction to the minutes? All right. Sensing no notes or questions, we will move to a vote. Members, you should now see a poll on your screen. Please take a moment to mark your vote before we display the results. All right, and the motion approves. All right, I would like to move on now to our president's report. And I guess that's me. That's me. Okay. Sorry, a little moment of humor and brevity here, y'all. It was exciting to see so many of you in Kansas City just a few short weeks ago. For those of you who were unable to join us in person, I'd love to take an opportunity to introduce you to our wonderful board of directors, both incoming and retiring, who dedicate their time and energy in serving Folk Alliance International. First, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our retiring directors and thank them for their years of service. First, we have Michael Kornfeld. During Michael's 9 years on the board, over 3 elected terms, Michael served on the Finance Committee and as the Advocacy Committee co-chair, identifying key areas of action relevant to our membership, which range from PROs, copyright, and small venue support. In addition, Michael brought about a deepened connection to the Folk Alliance regions. Thank you so much, Michael, for your service. Next, we have Chris Porter. During Chris's 1-year term on the board, Chris served on the Programming and Awards Committee and also served as the Nominating Committee co-chair, supporting the expansion of the candidate pool for our board of directors. Thank you so much, Chris. Next is Amy Reitnauer Jacobs. Amy served a total of 9 years over 3 elected terms. Amy was a part of our executive committee that hired me into this executive director role. And during Amy's tenure, she served on a number of committees, including serving as the nominating committee co-chair and helping restructure the nominating committee process, as well as the membership committee co-chair. Most recently, Amy was on the executive committee and was our most recent board president. Thank you so much, Amy. And last, we have Alka Sharma. Alka first joined the board as an appointed director and then served terms as an elected director. During her time on the board of directors, Alka served on the Regions Committee and as the Finance Committee chair, and was a part of the inaugural Cultural Equity Council. In addition, she served on the executive committee as our treasurer. Thank you so much, Alka. Let's take a moment to send a big thank you to all of our retiring directors. Thanks so much, y'all. Yay. Now I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the board and introduce you to our newest incoming directors. Every board has an executive committee that acts on behalf of the board between board meetings and per our bylaws and serve 2-year XCOM terms. In addition to myself serving in the president role, our executive committee is as follows. We have Reed Wick is serving as our vice president. Rosalind Dennett is our secretary. Kevin Dalton is our treasurer, and Lynn Singari is our member at large. Kevin and Lynn unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but they send their love and extension out to you as members of Folk Alliance International. And then if our remaining directors could please put their hands up as I call their names, it would be much appreciated. You can see their names on the screen here. The rest of our continuing board includes Ayapa Pindada, Iona Fife, Catalina Maria Johnson, Sarah Leishman, Gary Picosa, Ann Powers, who also sends her regrets that she can't be here today, Guillermo Subaste, Gerald Torres, and Brandy Waller-Pace. And while we are sad to lose the collective knowledge and friendship of this year's outgoing directors, re-elected to our board are our incumbent directors, which include Rosalind Dennett, Caroline Randall Williams, and Reed Wick. And we're also thrilled that we're going to be welcoming an incredible new lineup of faces to the board. These new directors include Mariah Zapp of Durham, North Carolina, and Art Menias of Rougemont, North Carolina. Great to see y'all. And Mariah and Art will formally be seated their 3-year elected term at the end of this meeting. In addition, joining them for 2-year appointed terms are Bo Bledsoe of Kansas City, Missouri, Laia Keverland of Copenhagen, Denmark, and Tina Roboski of Toronto, Ontario. My profound and heartfelt thanks to all of the remarkable aforementioned individuals for their time and dedication. It is an honor to serve and work alongside all of you. Thanks so much, y'all. This has also been an incredible year of transition and growth for Folk Alliance International. There's been a lot of work happening behind the scenes here with your board of directors, and I want to share some of those updates with you. Last summer, the board of directors developed FAI's new strategic plan in collaboration with facilitator Liz Allen Fay of Strategy and Leadership LLC in Nashville. Utilizing insight and input from our entire FAI community via our membership survey, which was distributed last year, recommendations from our Cultural Equity Council, and Centering Disability in the Music Industry Summit, our new strategic plan not only looks at how we will continue to preserve, present, and promote folk music, but how we'll continue to keep meeting the needs of our current community, the interests of future potential community members, and connecting the music and community and mission to the widest possible audience, using innovation, relationships, and partnerships to mission-based causes as its lead and guide. As we return back to gathering in person after 3 years, we also have been striving to make financially responsible decisions towards both growth and sustainability to continue to serve all members. Under the wonderful leadership of our Development Committee Chair, Sarah Leichman, I am pleased to report that we had 100% participation, wow, that's a hard word today, in donations to FAI from our board, staff, and contractors. Development and fundraising is an increasingly important activity for the future health of our organization, which we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the board will continue to work towards increasing fundraising goals throughout the year. Last year, Folk Alliance announced its search for a new executive director, and with support from Arts Consulting Group, we led a national search for our newest executive director. We are delighted to have Nita Raghawansi leading Folk Alliance International. Nita brings a depth of knowledge as an entertainment attorney, music industry executive, community organizer, and activist. We are so excited for her leadership, and I am so honored to get to work alongside you, Nita. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a huge thank you to Lisa Schwartz, who led our Executive Director Search Committee, and Jennifer Rowe, FAI's Deputy Director, who served as our Interim Executive Director during this search process. Thank you so much, Lisa and Jennifer, for your incredible work during this time. And now, without much further ado, I'm going to turn over the screen to Nita right now to share her report and updates.
Hello, hello. I love this. Thank you so much, Ashley. Hello, FAI community. I hope you're all doing well. I am your new Executive Director of Folk Alliance International, Nita Raghawansi. I love, Ashley, you were perfect in pronouncing that name, and I'm just doing it again for our audience here. It's a pleasure to have this wonderful opportunity to speak and engage with you all today. Firstly, I want to thank all of you who have reached out to welcome me in my new role. And for those of you who were able to make it to Kansas City to attend the conference, for coming up and saying hi and giving me a hug or introducing yourselves to me, I really appreciate it. It's so special to be part of our truly engaged community. I've been part of it, I think, since about 1996, which is amazing. I have been working in the music industry for over 30 years, and I've had this wonderful opportunity in my work to travel the world and participate in hundreds of music conferences and events and meet various communities. And there is no other that compares to the strong bond that is here in this amazing FAI community. So I want you all to pat yourselves on the back, be proud, be loving, and know that you're in this really wonderfully, highly engaged community. And, I bet that a lot of you already knew that, but, I want to thank you for showing up and for being here to participate in this and to reinforce those amazing bonds by staying connected and continuing to stay connected and abreast of the good work that we're all doing here. So I look forward to helping to guide that ship. And as some of you may already know about me, I come to you with a wealth of knowledge and experience. By way of background, I've been an entertainment lawyer for over 30 years. I've been a community activist, a nonprofit leader. I was your head of artist label relations over at Sound Exchange for many years. I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I'm a person who's been deeply committed to eradicating the phrase starving artist by helping advise and innovate around revenue streams and, for our creators, for our copyright owners. But I always know that we are ever-growing creatures who are constantly seeking enlightenment, and that I also have much to learn from all of you. And so you are all putting your time and your talent and your passion into your respective roles and projects and adding so much to our community. And so I look forward to listening and being enlightened by you all. And, please know, do not hesitate to reach out if you ever have anything to teach me, to guide me on, as we try to all work together towards improving our very special and ever-giving FAI community. So with that being said, I'd like to work through a review of the amazing work that FAI has done over the past year. And then we'll hand it over to my colleague, Deputy Director Jennifer Rowe, to also take us through that review, since I wasn't here in this role. And we'll talk about Jen in a moment and her amazing job. So since we last met approximately a year ago, FAI has actually been through not one, but two conference cycles, actually. Since we had to postpone the conference in 2022 from February to May, I think our last AGM was a year ago, and so I'm reporting to you on May 2022 as well. In 2022, we produced and presented the Folk Alliance Conference in May, as I mentioned, and I invite you all to look at the comprehensive conference report for 2022 that is on our folk.org website. But here are a few highlights. If you take a look at the slide, lots of good stats here, if you can see it. And it's a beautiful thing because, we did have to put things off. There was still a whole lot of pandemic in this. There was a hybrid conference. It was allowing folks to be involved from other countries, which was exciting. And so, do take a look at it, as I mentioned, on our conference report. So, it is a beautiful thing, and I'm going to push forward to our 2023 conference slide to sort of show that, we're on this upward swing, and that's really a beautiful thing to see. And I love seeing that more people are getting out there. So at the beginning of this month, we produced 2023 FAI conference. And this year's conference theme was Facing the Future, Sustainability and Folk Music. And we presented, we focused on conference programming that was addressing sustainability of the folk genre, of careers and businesses in the music industry, and the environment that supports us. So here on this slide, we are looking at the wonderful highlights of this recent past conference. I'll point out to you just a few numbers, which is we had 1,966 attendees in person. We actually had over 2,100 conference registrants, and that does compare to last year's 1,200. So we definitely we're very excited to see a great, huge leap and increase in conference attendance in real life. Everyone coming into Kansas City and being part of the community actively. There's so many good things here. And so I just want you to, take a look and know that it was a successful conference. We are super excited, and we really look forward to continuing that upward trend and that upward growth as we all stretch and come out of our caves and apartments and houses and homes and find our new sea legs to be back out there in society. So we should have a full conference report on our website in the coming weeks. But for now, I do invite you to watch our YouTube video on the International Folk Music Awards. That was the kickoff to our conference. There's some wonderful speeches and presentations and performances. And so I think it nicely captures a glimpse of that kickoff that we had to this wonderful conference, and hopefully a lot of you here were able to attend. But if not, we'll mention this again later. But we have on March 8th and 9th our virtual conference, Folk Plus, that we are offering on this great new online community of Chorus. And so you'll be able to see a lot of the highlights from the pre-records or the recordings from the 2023 February conference in Kansas City, as well as some other great content. So please do participate in that. So throughout our conferences, we had incredibly diverse numbers. I just wanted to point that out. And for those who self-identified and through intentional efforts of my past predecessor and the FAI staff and team and the board, we were able to exceed our goals in terms of providing you diverse perspectives and engaging in programming to create a more inclusive community. That being said, we are well aware that these efforts are constantly ongoing. And further intentional efforts, strategy, implementation, and constant analysis of systemic issues and biases is always at the forefront of our minds and our work. So we hope to continue and improve upon all of it, but we were over 50%, on the gender inclusivity of our conference programming and in all the good areas. And so it's been amazing. And I do want to thank my predecessor, Angus Finnan, for leading that charge so seamlessly, really being at the forefront of taking that on. I was an outside partner under different hats I wore as being a global co-chair of Women in Music and other organizations. And Angus and the FAI team were, through these past years, incredibly at the forefront of being intentional and having intentional efforts to address the DEI and A efforts. So thank you for that. So in addition to our conference, FAI does some amazing programs and initiatives to provide our members year-round resources. As we see here on this slide, the Village Fund started in 2020 in response to the pandemic. Some of you may remember my predecessor, Angus, talking about this. The Village Fund is a grant program for folk artists and independent music industry professionals experiencing financial hardship, and it's administered by Folk Alliance International. Overall, our upcoming distribution, the Village Fund, will have distributed out over $65,000 to 130 members of our community. The first time we issued funds was in June of 2021, and then a second round in December of 2021. And the third round was generated from a fundraising event for the Village Fund on Pete Seeger's birthday of May 3rd, with the blessing of Pete's family, where folks were invited to perform their favorite folk song under a campaign hashtag of #for Pete's sake donate. Their distribution of those funds were decided this past December of 2022, and folks are being informed this week. And so this last round is about 14,000 in distributions. So thank you to all who donated, and it's going well. And we want to keep those numbers going and keep those distributions going to make some impact and help and support the folks in our community. Next slide is telling us all about the other wonderful program, Artist in Residence program. We here at FAI are continuing our Artist in Residence program. Artist in Residence was created to foster cultural cross-pollination, diversify audiences, and nurture artistic growth. The program pairs folk musicians with institutions and community organizations through innovative partnerships. Past partnerships have included UNESCO, the International Rescue Committee, Kansas City Ballet, and the World War I Museum. So this 2023 pairing ties in with this year's FAI conference theme on sustainability and folk music. And our Artist in Residence project was a partnership between the amazing Colorado-based musician Carrie Morin, who's a Crow tribal member that NPR Music called one of Colorado's great treasures, and the nonprofit Friends of the Kaw, which is the only grassroots organization or conservation group dedicated to protecting the Kaw River, aka the Kansas River, which is a working river that is the drinking water source for over 800,000 Kansans. So Carrie spent time in Kansas City kayaking down the Kaw this summer, which is a vital water source for the region and the largest prairie-based river system in the world. And inspired by his time on the river and conversations with local elders via Haskell University and the Kansas City Indian Center, the final product of this project is a song he wrote that was presented alongside a music video during the 2023 FAI conference. So it was a wonderful project. We're very excited to keep on going with that one. So at this juncture, I would love to turn this over to my colleague and the best deputy director ever, Jennifer Rowe. When our dear friend and my predecessor, Angus Finnan, announced he was stepping down, Jen ungrudgingly and magnanimously and selflessly and generously stepped in to serve as acting executive director. Jen, I want to thank you for all your hard work, dedication, and leadership. I'm thrilled to continue working with you and the team into our exciting new future. And so I'll come back and talk about that exciting new future, but I would like to turn this over without further ado to the fabulous Jennifer Rowe to tell us all about what happened in addition to what I talked about in this past year. I'll turn my
Thank
camera
you,
off.
Nita. You do like those descriptor words, don't you?
I do.
I really appreciate all the kind words. It was a pleasure and honor serving as the interim executive director from mid-July until when Nita started in early December. I love this community and felt very fortunate to lead the organization. During those months, our staff was primarily focused on planning the 2023 conference with a truncated timeline of only 8 months since we had our conference in May instead of in February as scheduled. In order to accomplish this workload, we made some staffing changes and promoted Jared Rivers to the conference director. Jared has been with Folk Alliance for nearly 10 years, so he is our longest staff member. And thank you, Jared, for all your work. Tisha Naipaul on our team was promoted from administrative assistant to membership and development coordinator. And we hired Marina Udise in September as our administrative assistant. We also changed our structure starting at the May conference and continued at this conference this past month by hiring contractors from the FAI community to work as official showcase and daytime production coordinators. There is an amazing amount of talent in our community who applied for these positions, so thank you. The team of contractors and staff are incredibly strong and effective, allowing us to successfully plan the 2023 conference. I am so proud of our team and what we were able to accomplish. Thank you, everyone on our team. And if you attended the conference, please complete the conference survey if you haven't already. I believe we'll put the link in the chat for that. We also served our community by submitting albums for the Grammy consideration in the folk category this past summer. So that's been fun. I think this is the second or third year that we've done that. And for the second year, we partnered with JM International, based out of Brussels, to host Ethno USA in Black Mountain, North Carolina. This event brought together about 30 young artists from around the world to learn new musical traditions from each other. And after about a week of practicing with each other, the group performed at the Leaf Festival. And we hope to do that again this October. And that's essentially all we did. It seemed like more than that, but back now to Nita to talk about the future.
Wow, that was fast. Cool. Good job, Jen. I was like, oh, I have to get back on. Hello. So let's see. I am, yeah, I think I want to just jump right in. Here we go. So first of all, I want to mention next year, we will once again be in Kansas City for the annual conference, which is February 21st to 25th of 2024. We'll announce our theme soon, but please do save the date, mark your calendars. We look forward to welcoming you back for more meaningful content and fun, as well as hopefully something new and exciting. Always open to feedback, so please do let us know if you have any requests, needs, etc. The future. So all of us here at the FAI team, as well as our board, are working on building out a comprehensive and well thought out long-term strategic plan for the organization. As we work on finalizing the action and the implementation plans and the details around this, I wanted to at least provide you with some high-level themes and general topics to give you a glimpse into FAI's future. So number one, global expansion. We will squarely be making a focus on building out our global expansion while also helping our wonderful regional organizations and communities here in the US to further develop and thrive. My background comes from helping to build chapters around the world for women in music, as well as supporting the International Music Managers Forum in their build out of over 65 chapters for artist managers around the world and self-managed artists. And so with that network and the relationships I've already built by my that have been built by my predecessor and various leaders and partners in our community, we will be working on furthering our global expansion efforts to connect you all to an even wider community and connecting already existing organizations and communities to all of us. There are many wonderful, wonderful things, which I'm sure you can all imagine, that are going to happen from this expansion plan. Access to more opportunities, cross collaborations, education, enlightenment, allowing all of us to help each other even that much more. So we look forward to that meaningful work. I see here we have some participants from our fabulous partners and part of our communities in other countries. And so I'm excited to see that presence here. And we see the hellos. I can't wait to see that there's hellos on our chat from Accra and Johannesburg and Singapore and Mumbai and Lahore and Dubai, and have that list keep on going, because there's amazing folk artists everywhere, as we all know. So as we look forward to that, number 2, aligning with mission-based causes and initiatives. At the heart, at the core of folk music, I'm sure we can all agree, is a form and a style of that music that is this ever-evolving definition, and one that comes from within and without our community of folks. So perhaps it's telling us about your community or your struggles or joyous occasions within, or providing us with nuggets of advice on how to get through it. But also perhaps it's about singing with a common voice and a common tone. And Pete Seeger certainly saw perhaps that it was about singing with that common voice. Perhaps that was the way. He saw that folk music and a sense of community were inseparable. And where he saw a community, he saw that possibility of a group taking action. And if we could grow that community far and wide, what major impact we could have to create real change. So we want to make sure here at FAI that we're not only a platform to help drive you to be the greatest in the world, but to be the greatest for the world. So as we continue into our future, we will try to introduce you or reconnect you with missions, purposes, the idea of paying more attention to our lyrics to drive change, to curb violence, to inspire others to take action, to be at the forefront of music and technology, to help drive those messages and make that change. So we will try to bring you and engage with you more nonprofits and NGOs and other community partners to work on ways to help address the various causes out there, whether it be climate change or ocean conservation, social justice, cultural diversity, women and girls education, or poverty. We're going to try to help connect you to those folks and have an understanding of how we can apply our music to leaning into the cultural influences that we are and wanting to continue to be. So those partners out there need our support, and I hope that we at FAI can be the community that supports them in their efforts, which is really our efforts. So I look forward to working with you on that. The next thing on our list for the future, business and legal clinics, legal and business clinics. Now, with all of that being said about being aligned with mission-based causes, it is important to support you, our creators, our copyright owners, the businesses and teams that support them in their day-to-day needs, and to help you to make a living and sustain the good work that you are doing. So to those ends, we will be sure the future at FAI has a good, solid focus on keeping your legal and business housekeeping in order and infusing into our community more lawyers. Yes, the world does need more lawyers, the good kind, that will hopefully be able to help you through those pesky day-to-day challenges that no one wants to deal with, but all of us know we should. And I want to make sure our organization is there to educate and support you through education modules focused on making sure you understand your revenue streams, innovative and cutting edge ways to look at your business model, and making sure you're building a future that is sustainable for your businesses and careers. And with that comes tech initiatives. Our world and our industry is, of course, as we all know, ever advancing in extremely fast pace, faster and faster day by day, it seems. We are here at FAI to make efforts to present you with the latest services and tools by innovators in our industry and community, and get you that much more comfortable to make informed decisions about whether you want to dive into the metaverse experiences, dive into your data analytics to create more fan engagement, dive into whether AI can help you with your work instead of threatening it, and that intersection of where technology is really helping to improve our world and the mission-based causes we want to interact with in our work and in our lives. So I look forward to working with you through all of these wonderful things, which leads me to our next slide, which is all of this takes hard work and dedication of this amazing team. This team. I am so blessed to have inherited from Angus, from all of our board, this amazing group of people who have given their time and talents to the mission of our organization. I want to give my heartfelt thanks to our beautiful Folk Alliance International team. Thank you, Jared, Jen, Alex, Marissa, Tressa, Tisha, Sarah, Marina, Beth, Lily, Molly, Kylie, and Jim. They have been working tirelessly and year-round to make something very special for this community. So please take a moment to acknowledge their dedication and commitment to the Folk Alliance mission. Give them our deepest thanks in our virtual round of applause. You can add it in the chat. Because we really, really do appreciate all that's been here that you've done for us. So thank you. I'd also like to thank all of our regional leaders and their boards and their staff for being very much of a contributing factor and engaged part of our community. I look forward to getting to know you all better and continuing the good work that we all do together and can continue to do together. So thank you for everything. I also want to thank each of our speakers at our conference and our webinars and our programs year round. Your quality of expertise and generosity of time is outstanding. Thanks for bringing your wisdom and being part of our experience here together. And I also want to thank our donors and our sponsors and partners for their generous support and time. Thanks for seeing the importance in giving and how it can effectively help peoples and communities. And thanks to all of you for showing up as members of this community and showing your dedication. And one thing I want to point out on our donors and sponsors, when our sponsors and our partners, when they show up, I would love the rest of our members of our community to go to their websites, go to their social media, check out their businesses, their services, their organizations, be part of their membership, be part of their customer base. It is really a wonderful community we have here, and I want to make sure we're always looking at how we can engage and learn from each other. And part of it is diving in and really going, oh, that's a logo, that's interesting. What does that company do? I really want to understand, maybe it can help me in my business and career. So please do engage with them. I want to thank the current board, our amazing Folk Alliance board, including those who have just joined us, and indeed all of the directors who have retired from the board over the years. Your time and dedication and wisdom is deeply and greatly appreciated. It really is. And so I very much look forward to working with you all and forging amazing paths with you, and working with my colleague and compatriots, Jen, all of my team, Jen, and the amazing Ashley at the helm as board president. I can't wait to keep on working with you. It's been really fun, and I know we're going to do amazing things together at the helm of this amazing organization. So now to turn it over, I'd be happy to take any questions at the end following the treasurer's report, but here we have this slide that says Kevin Dalton, who's our treasurer, but unfortunately Kevin couldn't make it with us today at the last minute. So Jen is coming back to provide our treasurer's report. Welcome back, Jen.
Thank you. So hello, I'm reporting the financials of our fiscal year 2022, which runs from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. The financials were linked in the agenda set in advance of this meeting and are provided here in the chat. And the chart you see is the high-level summary as distributed earlier in our annual report, which we'll also link in the chat. There will be a motion for members to accept the financials as presented at the end of this report. While we are not obligated to present audited financials, FAI is committed to transparency in our community, so we make it a practice to do so. When FAI first faced the reality of the pandemic in the spring of 2020, our team forecasted a loss of about $500,000 over 2 years that was covered by our reserve. In the first full fiscal year of the pandemic, FAI cut expenses and leveraged donations and government relief funds to end the fiscal year with a positive balance. In the second fiscal year of the pandemic, we increased our budget to host an in-person conference and expected to run at about $130,000 loss, but through a variety of measures brought the loss to only $3,000 for FY22, which is incredible. Moving the conference from February to May added uncertainty that we wouldn't have the number of attendees needed to cover our expenses and meet hotel obligations. But our staff diligently considered ways to cut costs in the months leading up to the conference, and the hotel worked with us by waiving fees while providing the full value of our contract. These measures, along with continued government pandemic relief funds and generous donations, brought the loss to the aforementioned $3,000, with the income at $1,468,000 and expenses at $1,471,000. The first slide is our revenue, and then we'll jump to our expenses. We had about 51% was from conference income, meaning registration and sponsorship. A little over 1% was from membership dues. 39% came from donations, grants, and fundraising, and the remaining is made up of Ethno USA, other programs and revenues, and in-kind donations. And then the next slide is our expenses. 76% were related to program services, meaning the cost of the conference and year-round programming, while 20% relate to the general administration / management, and 4% related to fundraising. And that is the end of the fiscal year 2022 report. Ashley.
Had to find my unmute button there for a second. All right, thank you so much, Jennifer, for that great report. The next item of business is the acceptance of the fiscal year 2022 financial report. So I move to accept the fiscal year 2022 audited financial statement as presented. Do I have a second?
Hi, Ashley. This is Amy Reitnauer Jacobs, and I second.
Thank you so much, Amy. Are there any questions or discussion? If not, we will go on to take a vote now. Or the voting delegate of the member organization. Please cast your votes in favor, against, or an abstention when you see that poll on your screen. The final results will be posted once the full contingency here votes on that thread. Oh, great. So our motion passes. Thank you so much, everyone. And as no new business was declared for the agenda, I would like to open up the floor for general comments, which we encourage you to share via the chat or by raising your hand. All right. And I'm seeing a lot of lovely messages of congratulations and welcome in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind words during today's AGM. I'm going to give it just a moment more just to make sure that we don't have any other general comments for today.
I guess this is Artminius, and if there's nothing else, I guess I'll put the motion to adjourn on the table.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Art, for your motion to adjourn. Greatly appreciate that motion. And before I give the second on that one, I just want to say I am incredibly excited for the future of Folk Alliance International. We are surrounded by a beautiful community of individuals who care passionately about folk music and for the people who are a part of it. So thank you so much for being here today. You are the reason why this board serves and will continue to serve for years to come. We do have a motion on the table made by Artminius and a second from my end to adjourn. So we want to thank you again for joining us. We hope to see many of you very, very soon at Folk Plus, our virtual addition to the conference, March 8th and 9th. Thank you so very much, and we look forward to seeing you in future years. Thanks again, y'all.